Hey everyone, and welcome back to the SCREENY. Dr. Phil has shown us some of the worst parts of mankind, from broken family relationships to in-depth interviews with famous people. If there's a problem to be fixed, you can count on the big man to try and deal with it. Sometimes, the situations are so complex that they're hard to believe, leaving viewers watching in awe. Join us as we take a look at the most jaw-dropping moments on Dr. Phil. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos about your favorite movies and TV shows. Online dating scam. For most of us living in the modern age, we know to be weary of online scams. If someone asks you for money and you don't know them, then obviously you say hell no and hit that block button quicker than you can say fraudster. Unfortunately though, there are still some people out there who are too trusting. Dennis thought that he had met the love of his life online, Kimberly Escobar. After the two had been chatting for a couple of weeks, Kim told Dennis that she and her daughter had run into some issues when traveling abroad and were stuck in South Africa after being involved in a terrible car accident. When they had tried to go home, their passports had expired, and the authorities supposedly wanted a large wad of cash to let them go. Dear old Dennis forked out the cash and continued to bail Kimberly out financially to the tune of $200,000 over the course of a year. That's some serious dollar to give someone you've never even met. Despite all the red flags, Dennis believed the stories right up to the point of appearing on Dr. Phil. It was only when Phil brought out the woman that Dennis thought was Kimberly that he realized he had been conned. He actually went on the show to ask Dr. Phil to expose corrupt government officials who he believed were extorting them. Kip Moore's soulmate. We've all had the odd crush on a superstar, right? But most of us grow out of that by the time we reach adulthood and are sane enough to know that it's just a silly infatuation. Jenna took fangirling to an entirely new level when she claimed to have spent a night with country artist Kip Moore following on from a meet and greet at one of his concerts. According to her, the connection was so strong between them that it made her realize that she loved him more than she loved her husband, Travis. She had tried multiple times to reach Kip through his management and social media, including writing him a 12-page letter pledging her undying love to him. 2 days after the concert, she left her husband, accused him of being verbally and physically abusive, and filed a protection order banning him from going near her or their 2 children. Amazingly, Travis told the doc that he still loved his wife very much despite her being delusional. Not one to leave any stone unturned, Phil reached out to the singing sensation who denied ever having a special relationship with Jenna, simply stating that he meets hundreds of fans every day. We don't know what's more shocking about this one, the fact that Jenna believes that Moore was her big love or that her husband wanted to stay with her. Ariel Castro's first victim. Every now and then, Phil lands a huge TV interview with people who have been through horrendous things. He's had a woman that narrowly escapes the clutches of infamous serial killer Ted Bundy on the show, as well as in-depth chats with other high-profile names. Michelle Knight appeared on the show to have a one-on-one with the doc back in 2013. Knight was the first girl to be abducted by Ariel Castro, the man who kept Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus captive in his Cleveland home for 11 years. Michelle spoke candidly about her horrendous experience with the doc, who was moved by the way that she told her story. He later told Variety that this particular guest had such a profound effect on him that he promised to never complain about a single thing in his life ever again. The interview was both compelling, spine-chilling, and shocking, making most viewers take stock of their own lives and appreciate how lucky they are. Car radio communication. Breaking up with someone is never easy to do, especially if you know the other person won't take it well. Sheila went on the show after her ex-boyfriend Simon left the house one day, telling her that he would be back in a couple of days, but he never showed up. Since then, she believes that he had secretly programmed her car radio to give her clues about where to meet him, getting her to follow certain cars. Whenever Sheila got there, Simon was nowhere to be found. Of course, to you and me, that sounds insane, but this woman totally believed it. Her brother and sister-in-law were so concerned about her that they wanted to get her help, but she wasn't having any of it. Dr. Phil tried to get Sheila to admit that this could be just a fabrication, but she didn't want to. Considering that this went on for 2 years, you would have thought that she would have given it up, right? But no, the doctor had to intervene and bring Simon out onto the stage after tracking him down. When Simon came out, he was clearly pretty nervous to be there and denied doing any of the things that Sheila accused him of. But she just couldn't accept that he hadn't been messing with her for the past 24 months. It's pretty incredible to see someone so convinced of events that have never happened. Alter ego. Every now and then, a guest comes on the show that clearly thinks the whole thing is a joke. One young man appeared on the show when a family member became worried about his delusions of grandeur. Anthony claimed that he was the next Eminem and was already working for big labels on the down low, scouting new talent. He had a self-diagnosed alter ego that had quite the temper and apparently didn't care what others thought of him. Instead of realizing that getting a job might be the best way to support his music, he wanted to keep on being a bum and lying to everyone around him, including Dr. Phil. When the doc tried to out him for his lies by showing him a statement he had obtained from his supposed employer Interscope, Anthony still maintains that he was leaving the Dr. Phil set to go and sign a contract. You have to feel for the guy, really, as he was so deep in his own BS that he couldn't even smell it anymore. Father-son conversation. One of the worst things a parent can ever tell a kid is that they were never wanted. There's a reason why that is so damaging, and you don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Unfortunately for one son, he stumbled across court documents detailing the separation of his parents and asked his dad what was in it. The dad, clearly not thinking straight, told his son that it said his mom had wished she had terminated the pregnancy. Ouch. That's one hell of a blow. The doc was pretty furious that the conversation happened in the first place and read dear old dad his rights, telling him that there was no excuse for it. The dad maintains that his son had the rights to know the truth, but it was quite clear that he was either A, really not cut out for this parenting business, or B, still stuck by his own choice to tell his son that his mother never wanted him. Honestly, there should be a test that you have to pass before having children. Daddy issues. Drugs can turn a good person bad in a hot minute. Stephanie went on the show to try and get help for her baby daddy 2B. They had a 15-month-old child together, but unfortunately, 2B just couldn't keep clean. On the day Stephanie gave birth, she revealed that he had his dealer meet him downstairs in the hospital so he could score. What's more, he took money out of her purse to do so. If that wasn't bad enough, he had ruined her credit score, maxed out her cards, and virtually ruined her life. Despite all of that, she loved him anyway and wanted to give it a go. Can you imagine? The audience were in shock as the doc probed Steph to try and get to the bottom of her feelings for this maniac. Surely if someone ruins your life that badly, you'd pack your suitcase, take your kid, and run? 2B's mom was also there to put in her 2 cents about the toxic relationship, telling Phil that it's not just her son that gets violent, but she gets violent too. Stephanie also admitted to going out looking for her homeless ex for 9 hours a day just to make sure he's still alive, dressing up as a homeless person while she roams the streets to look incognito. What a world. Hacking confession. Jennifer came on the show with her husband Billy earlier this month to try and prove that Russian hackers were compromising their phones. According to her, they had been spying on her family for over a year and a half. But her husband, Billy, was adamant that it was his wife who was responsible. Jennifer had even hired a PI to try and clear her name, but the PI insisted it was her too. You'd think that going on one of the most popular shows in the country where you're a big fat liar isn't really a good idea. But Jennifer maintained her innocence throughout. However, in a shock turn of events, she confessed that it had been her all along in the car back to the airport. Dr. Phil brought the couple back to the show where he spoke to them backstage. Jennifer apologized to him and he wished them both the best of luck in the future. Amazingly, Billy comforted his wife and the two went off hand in hand. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to check out one of the other 2 videos on your screen.